nobody wants to touch this story because, first of all, who's going to make it right? Who's going to accept responsibility for this? The U.S. government. It says by the U.S.
government. You get that? By the U.S. government.
And so
it says. Well, this one you can't read.
It's 36 of them. Yeah. So pick the one you can read.
Unknown move from Nigger Hill.
Here's a good
I can't read that one either.
Here's a good one.
That says U.S. government right there.
It got good contrast, and you can get the date on it because the date is significant.
1954.
It's 1954. Rose is still on the back of the bus. See, all across the country, you got, you know, Jim Crow live and well in full bloom. Yeah. And so when you have the Army Corps of Engineers, oh, it's a new grave. Just popped up. Check that out. When you have a Army Corps engineer leader that comes from Vicksburg, Mississippi, and he is determining how to deal with all of these graves that have to be moved so we can build a dam, and we don't give a damn about black folks. My gosh, you want us to do what? Take care of them? Them niggas? Oh, so that's what they put on the tombstone.
So, in the attempt of our elite blacks to subjugate that term nigger, how can they justify their activities when they allow the U.S. government to use it in plain English on 36 graves that, you know, historically, that a term that was used to degrade black people?
Well, believe me, the NAACP knew about this long ago. Long ago. These graves are not new. They've been here for 50 plus years. And there have been numerous attempts of good, solid human beings to say this is not right. And then you had other people that, when I was out here, the first time I came out here, and they were having a discussion about, well, you know, as a part of the discussion of all of the cemetery we got over here, they said, well, we need to change this. And, well, what do you think, Michael? Because, you know, Chuck, Mr. Keynes brought me out here. And so they're like, some people were like, well, that's what they were. They're just niggers. They're just niggers. And I'm like, why they got this old woman about to get hurt? Why is she going there? And then other people were like, no, the town was Negro Hill, and they explaining it, trying to be logical with illogical, racist, demonic people. And so, you know, our so-called, well, they are leaders, but they're not coming out here unless there's a groundswell of people that say this is important to change. They're just going to turn the other cheek and say, we just niggas. I mean, that's what they've done for generations. And I'm talking about
everybody.
Generations, like yourself. You've known about this for 6 years.
Yeah, and the first
I've known about this for 10 years. We put effort into doing things and bring together people. We've had Korean War veterans out here. We've had the news out here. We've had the Sacramento Bee out here. We've gone through the halls of Congress. We've gone all through the halls of, you know, the state legislature. We've researched, we know who some of these niggas are. We've gone to the archives in South Carolina, North Carolina, and Massachusetts. We've looked at shift manifests. We know who some of these people are. But most people can care less about these niggas. And when it's time to do something, you know, something significant, we come out here and say, what y'all thinking? So like today is National Agricultural Day. And these black folks were farmers and miners, primarily farmers, because they had to eat. Wasn't nobody gonna sell them nothing. They had to provide sustenance for themselves. Okay, and these black agriculturalists took care of business and fought and clothed and fed not just themselves, the whole community. So they, you know, and people know that. They know the story. But, you know, it is systemic to our society as Americans. We are not prepared to have an adult conversation about race. We still want to be children and act like this is going to change by itself. It's not. And again, we got to have adult conversations about things. and we want to be like children and expect the financial markets to regulate themselves to be able to make things better for us. So in New York City, they have what's called the African burial grounds right by Wall Street, where the original stock market was, and you was a stock on my ship coming in. It was all insured against the lifetime utility of a black man working in the field and the woman for nothing. Niggas. And so now they said, no, this is the African burial ground here, and it's got respect, and it took a long time to do it. It could happen here, but they had a community that came together and said, no, we're going to do this. Here, the people say, man, we got to worry about our 501k. We got to worry about, you know, sentencing, whether if somebody smokes crack cocaine or is doing, you know, cocaine, snipping in their nose, you know, the sentencing is different. That's not important in the sense that it doesn't deal with the structure. Why are you doing cocaine in the first place?
Well, how did cocaine get here in the first place?
Why are you doing it? There ain't nobody holding you down and making you snort the cocaine or do rock cocaine.
For real.
But if they calling you a nigga and you 3/5 of a human being, and some structural adjustment programs that need to happen in terms of America.
Right.
And so here you have black folks that own land, and they came here and set up towns, and came here and participated in California history, early history, and they wiped them off and called them niggas, and they buried here. And so in the 21st century, you're gonna talk about, oh, I want to do something positive and make a change. Well, they just go to your tombstone tomorrow and call you a nigga.
For real, move you from your original home, your original burial place, and put an unknown on
Treat you like a nigga, like these are. And so if you can't move to change these, what are you gonna do when they treat you like a nigga? There was an effort not long ago to have a Boy Scout come out here and do whatever he wanted to do, and they wouldn't communicate it. And I'm like, well, I don't think you should do that, because, you know, why would you do further harm to the graves? You know, let a child come out here and do what he want to do. Again, we don't want to have an adult conversation about race. So we start out building on what we have, the Negro Hill Burial Ground project that's, you know, going on 6 years to get to the point where we are now. We need to raise money and then put together a solid proposal as we approach the government to accept responsibility for what they did. And then also, how do we put a positive correction into Mormon Island Relocation Cemetery?